sport mode, pedal to the metal, and to drive. Let's see. There's no movement. Today I'm driving the 2024 Chevy Blazer EV RS. This thing, it's pretty cool. Let's roll! Okay, check this out. This is the first ever Chevy Blazer EV. The package that we have for today's video, it's the RS package, which is sort of like a sporty, yet with a very good range in this case. Now, we're gonna talk about what this thing offers with this package specifically, and then we're gonna take it for a test drive. But before we do that, special thanks goes to our great friends at Applewood GM. They're a GM store located not too far from Toronto in Mississauga. They're kind enough to allow me to borrow this thing for the day. And in fact, this is a demo version, so you can go and test drive it in case if you want to place an order for one of these, because this thing I think is going to be very popular. If you want to know more about them, the link will be in the description below. But for now, let's talk about what's new with this, what does it offer with this package, and then we'll go for a test drive. On the outside, it does have the perfect EV design. It looks like an EV. Look at the headlights, look at the rims. The rims give that away pretty easy, right? And look at this, the wow effects. Essentially, when you get close to the car, it unlocks and then it turns on the front light, including the Chevy badge. And then we have the RS badge at the front. There's no actual grille because this is electric, so it doesn't need much of that air channeling for the engine because there's no engine. Moving on to the side profile, I have to say it looks pretty cool. It is bigger in my opinion than a Mach-E. It feels bigger, it looks bigger than a Mach-E. It's got great design. I love these wheels. These wheels are very cool. It has that sort of carbon finish look, but it's not real carbon in this case. This is the EV design because they want to make them as light as possible. But what we have in here, these are 21 inch. In the front, we got 275/45. Pretty wide, I have to say. And then moving on to the back side, similar wheels, of course. I really like this design overall. It looks really cool. In the back, in this case, we also have 275/45. So it is a straight setup, 275 in the front, 275 in the back. Moving on to the back side, again, that aggressive look. The similar design for the headlights. It's kind of the same thing at the back. This is sort of like a star. If you look at it carefully, it has like a star look, just the top part is flat, or maybe a boomerang, whatever way, it doesn't matter. It looks cool. I love the rear end, pretty aggressive. And you got the Blazer badge located onto the left side, and all-wheel drive in this case with the RS package. Beautiful spoiler at the top. It also comes with a rear view mirror camera, which is located right at the top over there. Now, let me open the actual trunk and let me show you what it offers. First of all, this is the key fob. You press this twice and there you go. Now you have access to this massive area. The good thing about EVs in general is that they offer quite a lot of space because they don't have an engine and they tend to have less parts than a standard petrol car. Lots of space. You can easily put here a lot of things. In fact, you get more space underneath here if you look carefully. And you can fold the seats in the second row with these buttons over here. You push those, so we got a 64 split option in this case. Lots of space, but the disappointing part, you don't get, well, any frunk in this case. This is just your standard equipment that this car comes with. You have your reservoir in there, Same thing onto the sides. That's pretty much it. In fact, you can't even open this part. You have to essentially pull this completely, but it doesn't give you a frunk, which I think it's a bit disappointing because it would make this thing very competitive in my opinion, especially knowing that a Tesla offers that. And I do believe the Mach-E has it. It's been a while since I reviewed one, but I do know some of the EVs offer a bit of that trunk space in the front, also known as frunk. In terms of charging, this has that cool effect. On the side here, you press that, and it slowly opens the charging port. In this case, the door completely opens, and now you have access to level 1, 2, and 3 charging, supercharger in this case. And right on the side here, you press this button once, and it is a bit slow to go up, but a lot of them are like that. I don't get it why they do this. Just put a bloody door. Like, we don't really care about this. Just more problems. But I have to say, it looks pretty cool. Moving on to the side profile into this area. In terms of the keyless entry, we got these buttons on the door handle, which you press those to open, lock, unlock the vehicle, including the second row doors and the front one. Now, let's jump inside. Second row first, we have this beautiful finish Alcantara in the center with some leather, red stitching and blue stitching at the same time. Same thing with the seats here. Of course, you can fold them. Moving on to the door panel, that stitching continues, which I think it gives a really good look on the inside. It feels good when you jump in. We have this carbon fiber style finish, but it's not real carbon fiber. Just again, an effect. And then moving on to the center, very spacious. But we don't get a panoramic roof with this package, with the RS package. I believe with a fully loaded one, you do. And then you jump inside, so you get into the center, we have the air vents, which are similar to a Camaro in some ways, and the other Chevy Blazer, which I understand why they did it, continue with that same design. At the bottom, we have the buttons for heated seats in this case, and then 2 USB-C ports. Now, in terms of space, I've set the seat in the front as if I was the driver, and look at that, tons of leg room, very spacious, and even the center area here gives you a lot more space. Overall, it's comfortable, you get a lot of space, and someone that is 6'2" like me, you also get a lot of headroom. Like, if you look carefully, nice and comfortable, tons of headroom in this case. Overall, it is very, very big on the inside. It actually looks big on the outside, and it is big on the inside, which is usually the reverse with most cars. I like this, very comfortable. Now, let's jump into the front. Now, the good news is that when you jump inside, you don't have to do anything. It starts up automatically. In this case, it was already on because I came in and went out. But that's all you have to do. Put your foot on the brake, put it into drive, and that's it. Now, what do you do when you want to turn it off? Well, I haven't figured that out yet, but the usual way is just to walk out, which I'm assuming this would do that. There you go. It's that simple. But let's just say it doesn't work. What do you do? Well, you lock it, you walk away, and the vehicle turns off itself automatically because it's electric. Put your foot on the brake, and it starts up. Simple as that. Remove the foot from the brake, open the door, and it should turn off, but it's not turning off. Go into park. Okay, into drive, into park, remove the foot off the brake, and then it turns off. It works. Now you're probably wondering, wait a minute, that's a bit sketchy. It's not at all. In fact, if it doesn't turn off like that, when you walk away, it turns off automatically because it is exactly designed to do that. So don't freak out. It's just sometimes it's technology. It takes time to turn off. And on top of that, I had the window open on that side, therefore it wasn't turning off right away. But it does turn off. And initially I was a bit like, oh my God, this will never turn off. And it did turn off. But let's just say I want to shoot the interior of this thing with the car being on. How do I do that? Well, I just drop the key in the center here and it stays on. it takes some time to learn about this car because it is different to other EVs in my opinion, which have a button. This doesn't have a button. Tesla doesn't have a button, but Tesla has that tap thing card in the center and the car starts on. This one has none of that. All you have to do is just keep the key in your pocket and then call it a day. That's it. And then you go in. Now, let's jump into the interior. Let's talk about what does it offer. First of all, we have this beautiful steering wheel with the RS badge underneath here. Nice finish all around. And then the actual center area, we have the airbag with the new badge for EVs. Left side, you have your cruise control, and this does come with a Super Cruise, but the model that we have here does not have it. I believe you have to go all the way to the high trim or add it as an option. The right side, we have for the pages for the cluster, and of course, the voice control, music, and so on. I love the steering wheel finish, the stitching around it. It gives it that sporty look. Digital cluster in the center. This is pretty cool. Now let me show you what it offers. You can control a lot of things with that button located onto the right side of the steering wheel. It offers a lot of information. You can change the layout. It's pretty cool. And then you have a full GPS, the map in this case, right in front of you. I like this. Easy to use, just enough information. On top of that, you do get with this package a heads-up display, which is nice. Also, look at this beautiful design here. It goes all the way there. I like it. This overall, it's a nice design, but then you jump into the center, you get this massive infotainment display, which I believe is about 17.7 inch. That is essentially the same size as my MacBook Pro. That's how big this thing is. But I do appreciate the fact that they've included buttons and these scroll buttons at the same time. It's not just touch screen, and the climate unit stays on here all the time, so you have easy access. And I just realized why I was feeling so hot, because the heated seat was on. And then you have ventilated seats with this package as well, which is nice, or you can just turn it off completely. They've included a third button for that, and includes the passenger side and the driver's side. Climate unit is right here. You can control it with the scroll here, or you can do that. So you have multiple ways to adjust the temperature, which I think it's pretty nice. The infotainment display is actually very, very quick, and this is equipped with an Android user interface or software in this case. So it's pretty easy. If you use an Android, you're going to love this thing. You have Google Assistant in this case. You have the camera Play Store. You can download apps. I don't know if it's actually, oh, there you have it. You have to get a plan or you have to sign in for this one. You go into the menu because at the top over here, you have the shortcuts. So you can adjust that and dismiss this. And then we go into the camera. And then the camera in this case is not full 360, but it does give you some options. So you got the back sides, you have an overhead for the front, you have a side profile. You can do that as well, fisheye in case you use it for towing. The front side, the back side, you can do overhead, you can do side, you can do hitch in this case, or you can do normal. So it does have a lot of options. The fact that it doesn't have a 360 camera, that one it's actually pretty handy. Moving on to this part here, we have your information about the vehicle. You can tap in here, it shows you the tire pressure. You go back into here, energy, and then you can tap back to the car. It shows you all the points where you can see all the information about the car, which I think is pretty cool. It's got that wow effect, which I like. And then you have the trip in this case, shows you all the energy. And then onto the side over here, you have one pedal. One pedal is used for regeneration purposes. You can do that, which you can turn off the vehicle. That's another button that you can turn off the vehicle completely. And then you can do this one here for the lights. Now, in this case, if you don't want to bother with that and say, oh, I don't want to press, I just want to walk away, you can do that. But it does give you the option here in case if nothing works, you can't turn off the vehicle, you can turn off the vehicle with this button here. And there you go. Now, you press the brake pedal, which I just did, and then it starts up the vehicle. I think it's pretty easy. It's just, it takes time to get used to it, and that's your audio volume. On top of that, if you want to turn off the screen completely, there is a button located at the top over there that you can use, which I think is pretty handy if this bothers you, because it is slightly large, I have to say, probably one of the biggest I've seen in an EV at this point. There's also a wireless charging pad, wireless connectivity for your phone, and of course built-in navigation system. It's pretty easy to use. It's very, very user interface. It's very friendly overall. Then you have more option. It also comes with driving modes with this package. You have my modes, basically you can adjust that, and then you have snow mode, and you have sport mode, and then you have normal mode. easy. But you don't get a button over here that you can control the modes. So all you have, it's that based on the shortcut, which you kind of have to like go in here, find it where it is, and then go into sport mode, which I understand that why they did it, but I'm assuming most people are not going to just drive all the time in sport mode. And then you have more controls, your auto high beams, power window, dome lights, and heads-up display. There's an audio system control in this case with all the latest tech features like Sirius XM, FM, and so on. I like this. It's very easy to use, very comfortable. I love the design, and it's sharp, but very fast. It's not slow at all. It's pretty quick to use, and even when you tap, things come in really fast. I like that. Moving on to the bottom side over here, we have the air vents, which you can adjust these things like this. Now, you've seen this probably in a normal Chevy Blazer. It looks similar to that with the red color around it. And then in the center here, we have more space, and then there's more space underneath here for your phone. And then you have two cup holders, wireless charging pad, and an armrest. So you got a lot of cargo space inside here, a lot of compartments inside the vehicle, so that gives you enough area to store anything you have. Overall, great design. And the last thing that I love about this car is the fact that it comes with this feature here, which is probably something you know by now. But I find that very, very handy, especially in some vehicles where visibility at the back is horrible. And I believe this one, it's okay. It's not that bad. It's pretty good left side, right side. Overall, great interior. Now, let's go for a drive. Let's talk about specs, price, and how this thing handle on the road. Okay, let's talk about the Blazer EV. A bit late to the market, especially the Mach-E GT has been in the market for a while now. Let's talk about what this offers. So essentially what we have in here is a dual motor, meaning all-wheel drive, but there's a rear-wheel drive version. GM says that the estimated range about this is 515 kilometers for a rear-wheel drive version, which means the all-wheel drive is slightly less, or it could be the same. Those are the numbers that are out. 515, which is 320 miles range. Right now, battery is about like 55% range, and essentially showing me 259 kilometers, which is actually not bad at all. That means I'll be able to get home on time. 54, it just dropped right now because I just did a launch control. 0-60, this will do in about 5.5 seconds, 5.4. Price-wise, in Canada, this starts at about $73,000, $74,000. In the US, this will start at about $51,000 for the rear-wheel drive version. For the all-wheel drive, it starts at about $56,000. Now, it's within the range of every other EV out there, including the Mach-E, even the Tesla, although the Tesla can drop the prices any day. But at this moment, as we speak, the price is very similar to what you get for the Mach-E and Mach-E GT. Now, how does this thing drive? Because that's very important. I really like this. It's very comfortable. It's very spacious on the inside. The driving position for me as a driver, it's almost perfect. It's very low, which I really like that. You're not sitting high like this. I like how it drives. I love the power delivery. Put your foot down, making only 288 horsepower. It's actually very, very good. It's all-wheel drive, which is nice in winter. The range doesn't seem to drop that fast. Every time I put my foot down, it's holding the battery and the range really, really well. The one-pedal drive, it's sometimes slightly annoying because it goes really hard when you let go of the throttle. On the left side, you have one pedal shifter, which it's for you to increase and decrease the regeneration mode. It's like plus, minus. It's only on the left side. Behind the steering wheel, you still get those buttons to control the volume and the radio, which is nice. Visibility is great in this car. You have your blind spot assist in this case. It has heated side mirrors as well, which is nice with this package. Overall, it's very comfortable. It's quite off the line. You put your foot down and easy to overtake pretty much anyone. And it's very quiet inside. Now, it's kind of silly to say that for an EV, but that's essentially the truth. And the good news is that because this is an EV, all the traffic that it's in here, I will absolutely skip it. You know why? Because I have green plates. That means I can take HOV alone. That way I give more space to the people on this side so that we ease the traffic. That's the benefit of green plates. It's huge. Besides that, it saves the environment, I heard somewhere. I really like this thing. And I think they've made a very good product overall. The pricing, it is a bit expensive, I have to say, in comparison to Tesla Model Y, but it's also bigger than that car and better quality interior, let's just say it that way.